I overdosed on creatine and took 3 times the recommended amount for an entire month, and the results were pretty crazy. And I tracked everything along the way. So in this video, I'm going to share my results, not only my gym results, but also how it impacted my body, my mood, my cycle, and my mental clarity. And let me tell you, the changes were big, and there were a couple of unexpected side effects along the way. You might know me from a previous creatine video that went viral earlier this year, but if not, let me get you up to date. I first started taking creatine earlier this year, just 5 grams a day, and I documented my entire journey for 30 days, and I had pretty insane results. I'll be sure to link that video in the description below if you want to check that out next. But I've been doing so much research on this fantastic supplement ever since, and it turns out that 15 grams a day can have insane benefits outside of the gym.
How is it going to benefit you? Is it going to improve your training volume? Is it going to make you stronger?
All the above. I'm one of the big proponents of taking a lot more than probably what's recommended.
What if I told you that one of the most popular fitness supplements might also be one of the best compounds for enhancing your brain function and protecting your cognitive health as we age? The brain makes up just 2% of your body weight, but consumes a staggering 20% of the energy. And creatine might be one of the most important keys to keeping it performing at its best.
So we're seeing multiple data points suggesting that in healthy people, creatine supplementation may enhance brain function.
So I guess that's why I did the experiment in the first place. I had already seen such insane benefits from taking 5 grams, and I really wanted to see if it had any extra benefit on my brain health. I was curious if more was better. But first, I think it's really important to explain what creatine is and why there is so much hype around it lately. So creatine is a supplement that is already found in your body, and it helps produce ATP, which is energy. So by supplementing it, it can help you have more energy inside the gym, which can help you push more sets, it can help you push more reps, which ultimately means that you can build more muscle faster. It is the most widely studied supplement, and it is also incredibly safe to take. So your body already naturally produces creatine, but for women in particular, we have lower stores, so by supplementing, it can really help us. It is also found in meat products and fish products, so people who follow a plant-based diet, it can be really helpful to supplement too. So I will get to my results in a moment, but I think it's also really important to talk about the potential side effects of taking creatine, but also a higher dose of creatine, because I really did struggle at first. So I started off by taking 15 grams with my water first thing on an empty stomach. The first day I did this, I felt so sick at the gym that I almost had to go home. I wasn't sure if it was just a once-off thing and had nothing to do with my creatine. So I did the exact same thing the next day and the next day. And on all 3 occasions, I felt very nauseous. Not to mention, it gave me a very runny tummy. So I ended up breaking up my dosage every single day. And I started taking around 7 grams in the morning with my water. And then I ended up adding the rest of it to my protein powder with yogurt in the afternoon. This way, I was making sure that I was still hitting my 15 grams a day, but I was breaking it up throughout the day, and this got rid of my nausea. One other side effect that I guess is probably related to this as well is that definitely over the last 30 days, my stools, and this might be too much information, has gone a lot softer. Not necessarily a bad thing, but it has made me a lot more regular. But that could also be to do with the amount of water that you have to drink when you're taking creatine, because creatine draws the water into your muscles for max performance. You have to drink a lot of water when you're taking it. I was aiming to hit around 2.5 to 3 liters per day, and it was actually making me a lot more thirsty. Just something to note. Other than the nausea and the loose stools, I did not have any other negative side effects at all. One thing I will note though is that my scale weight jumped up about 2 kilos. Now, throughout the last month, I have been in a building phase. I've been intentionally trying to build some muscle, so I have been in a calorie surplus, but at the start of the challenge, my scale weight was around 63, and today when I jumped on and weighed myself, I was 66.6. And for the surplus that I was tracking in, it's pretty impossible for me to have gained that much fat in such a short amount of time, so majority of that has to be the creatine. I know that a lot of women have reservations about taking creatine because they are worried about increasing their scale weight, but it's just really important to know that it's not fat and that it is water weight, and the benefits of taking it far outweigh the jump on the scale. And I also did post my last video. I got a lot of comments about people's own individual experience with taking creatine, and there were definitely mixed reviews. So it's one of those supplements that you have to try out for yourself and see if it works for you. There have been so many studies to show that it is safe. Higher dosage is safe for the kidneys. So it's one of those things that I think you just have to test out and see how it goes. All right, there results are in. All right, so I tested 4 things along this challenge, and the first one was how it changed my body and of course my strength in the gym. The second one was how it impacted my recovery. The third one was how it impacted my brain function, and then my last one was how it impacted my menstrual cycle. So I performed a fitness test on day 1 and on day 30, and these results are pretty crazy. So my lat pull down, I went from 45 kgs for 8 reps to 52 kgs for 8 reps, which is pretty insane because I was stuck at a plateau on 45 kgs for so many months. So this actually really helped me break through that plateau. I went from a dumbbell RDL from 28 kgs to 35 kgs. My barbell bench press went from 40 kgs for 8 reps to 40 kgs for 10 reps, still struggling a little bit with my upper body strength. My squat leg press went from 200 kgs to 250 kgs for 8 reps, which is just insane. And then my Bulgarian lunges didn't change, mainly because I have a bad knee, and the last couple of weeks it was actually really playing up, so I couldn't progress any further with that one, unfortunately. So I've seen pretty insane improvements in the gym over the last 30 days by taking creatine, but I also just want to note, because I was doing this challenge, mindset wise, I was probably pushing a lot harder than usual, and I definitely think that comes into account. Like I said earlier, my scale weight went from 63 to around 66.5, so there was quite a big jump there. But if you look at a photo of me here, this was taken this morning when I was 66 kilos. Compare this to a version of me here. This was taken last year before I did my first cut at 63 kilos. Now, I'm not saying this was the drastic change in the 30 days, but if you can compare these two and the scale weight, it just kind of goes to show that scale weight is kind of irrelevant on this journey, especially if you're building muscle. Another thing that I noticed along this challenge was that my skin cleared up quite drastically. Now, this was a video of my chest area before the challenge. You can see that there's quite a few spots here, and this is a video of it now. Now, I'm not saying this was the creatine specifically, but because I was drinking so much more water on this journey, I think it had an impact on my skin as well, which is pretty cool. So the second thing that I monitored was my recovery in between sessions. Now, I didn't have any fancy tracker or app or Whoop watch to measure this specifically, but I usually do get quite sore between sessions, and I didn't really notice any of that throughout the last 30 days, which is pretty crazy. I also felt like I had so much more energy every single morning when I woke up. I felt way less drained and ready to train sooner. The third thing that I really wanted to measure on this challenge was how it impacted my brain health. And this is kind of where I was quite blown away. Now, I work quite a lot. I'm always at my desk, and by like 2 or 3 o'clock, I always feel extremely screen fatigued and really, really tired that I'm always reaching for that 3 p.m. coffee. I felt so much more clear-minded and focused with tasks. I was getting so much more done. Just to give you a little insight into one specific task that it really helped me do, I've been an online coach and nutritionist for years, and I've posted on Instagram constantly for years and years and years, and never have I ever in my entire life sat down for a couple of hours and planned out an Instagram strategy. And this month, I sat down and for an entire day, I mapped out an entire month's worth of content. Like, I've never been so focused. I do feel like it's given me that extra gear of brain energy. No more brain fog, no more 3 p.m. crashes, and I have just been so much more productive. It's pretty cool. And then the last thing I tested was how it impacted my menstrual cycle and my mood, especially leading up to my monthly gift. I am someone who always gets so moody, so moody. My poor husband really does get the brunt of that for the couple of days leading up to it. I had none of that this month. I even got my period 2 days early, and I had no idea that it was even coming. So it really helped me with my mood in the lead up to my monthly gift. So I guess the only downside of my entire challenge was that it upset my stomach at the start, but then by breaking up the dosage, I was able to overcome that. Other than that, it has been a fantastic 30 days, and I will absolutely continue taking a high dose of creatine. So if you're someone who is taking creatine already and you're curious about overdosing, drop a comment below. I would love to chat to you, or come and chat to me on Instagram here. Let me know that you've watched my video, and maybe we can have a bit of a chat about it. Make sure that you do proceed with caution. I'm not a doctor, and I don't want to give you health advice. So making sure that if you are going to increase your dose, that you do it properly, and that you maybe consult your doctor beforehand, or just be aware that you might experience some side effects like I've mentioned today too. But other than that, I don't feel like you have anything to lose, and you have so much to gain. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.